Wait a
I
minute.
am.
Here you go. Wait a minute. Here you go. Oh, I have something important. I have to.
What? I haven't
Can
even
you see
started.
the books?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, right. Let me start this. I am joined on Drummers Review by the legend that is Mike Mangini. Yeah. How are you doing?
Very, very well. Happy.
Good. Um, it seems like, over the last couple of years, you've been, as busy as ever with your brand new band, Monolith. Your drum kits are ever changing, ever growing, ever adapting. And it's so great to sit down with you just for 10, 15 minutes and hang with you and geek off about drums. And, being joined by one of the best players on the planet is an
Thanks.
absolute honor for me. That's all right. Just call it £10 and we'll call it even. Um, so firstly, one thing I would love to talk to you about is your limb independence and your coordination. You seem to do it almost better than any other player on the planet. How on earth did you manage to master such a skill?
I just read this book called Rhythm Knowledge Volume 4, and all then popped up. All right, here it is. Let me
Okay.
sum it up. Let me sum it up for you. It is, I'm able to do it when I once not able to do it. That's why I teach, okay? Because these things that I do, they're not for the player that pops out, into the world and they are Buddy Rich and they can just, this, my systems, the stuff I work on, this is for the player that has something in their heart. They see something they like, but there's no way you're doing it. That's me. That is me. So fortunately, um, as much as I can play the drums fairly naturally, the the skill of learning something, I don't care what it is, hand-eye coordination, that's a greater gift I know that I've been given. So what did was I'm sitting down, I like the drums. It's like, okay, I can't play this. And then I search, cannot find anything, especially in an era where players like me learn from putting a needle on an album, slowing it down, and that's the only information you had. Okay? And then you have books. So I read a lot of books on cognitive science. Without getting deep, the answer to the question, after all of that research and an inability to play, was asking the question, what is coordination? What is the nature of this? What is it? Okay? And by digging into it, I found that when I'm switching limb pairs, let's just say that someone's doing a double bass, you're doing a double bass pattern, and it's fairly straightforward, like dooga 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 dooga, or a typical Brazilian samba that all kids, we all get taught this, like boom, 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 a bossa nova samba, boom, boom. All right, so let's say you get that going on, and your hands are playing fairly freely. To all of a sudden, go from doom, boom, 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 to something as simple as the right hand on a hi hat or ride in the left foot doing chick to chick like a kabasa. So to go from boom to doom to chick to but to freely switch the other two limbs
Yeah.
is the reason it's a nightmare is because we were doing it wrong all along. Meaning, when I say that, I'm talking about a database where I wasn't doing it right, and not a single person that ever came to me of thousands. Look, we all did the same thing. It's like, why can't we do this? It's because our eyes are perceiving and our ears are perceiving these limb pairs, the hands and the feet, as two like horizontal lines. If you're looking at a box, okay, horizontal. So what happens though when you make a switch is you can't perceive reality this way. You have to then do this. You have to kind of line up um, one the right hand with the left foot in a way that's not normal right before you make the switch. So in other words, it's how you picture it. That's how it works. I want to show you something.
He's gone.
So
He's gone.
I'm gone. I'm gone. No, no, it's the AI thing. I'll show you what I mean very quickly without boring somebody if they're not interested in such a thing. But I'll tell you what, my whole world, and I know people call me a technical, you're a technical drummer. Everything's technical. Literally, a Charlie Watts Rolling Stones beat has as many technical aspects with how the brain is sending a signal. So what's the difference what you play? It's technically working the same in the inside. So to me, that word is silly. Everything is technical. If somebody wants to say complex, okay, you can say that word.
There's different variations of technicality, right? You know, if you're playing
Yeah.
something in 15/8 with your feet and in 7/8 with your hands, that's going to be more complex than your average
Yeah.
Rolling Stones track, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, mathematically. So I don't know that you can see this, but
Yeah.
there are squares, and it's like right hand, right foot, left foot, and there's squares over here. I can't even see that. Anyway, this whole book is based on seeing, like looking out. Look, like if you're looking instead of me, sorry, you're gonna look at me. But if you're looking at a drum set, if you're looking at a drum set, you're seeing a box. Your right hand, your left hand, your right foot, your left foot. Interestingly, interestingly, there are six pairs there. Okay, and the thing that I found out about the human brain is that there are actually 12 pairs. In other words, I'm going to solve the main issue here, which is to a human person, to a normal guy walking down the street. If you walked up to someone and you're like, "Hi, I'm a drummer. I'm going to interview you. How many pairs of hands do you have?" They're going to think you're messing with them. But the answer is two to the brain. And the reason why I say that is the right hand leading the left hand for a righty is not the same as the left hand. And you know that by being a drummer. You can't just flip. So I know that we have a pair of hands in all senses of reality, but to the brain, you have two pairs, the right leading the left and the left leading the right. Now, when you make 12 combinations, okay, 12 combinations, you've got four limbs, and each of
Yeah.
them has three, three pairs, right leading left, right leading the right foot, right hand leading the left foot. That's three pairs. So it's how you visualize it is how I do it. I know that I could have answered your question saying, I said, well, how do you do it? Well, it's how I see it. But that's not good enough. That's like interviewing a football player, football in England, a soccer player, and you're interviewing one of these great soccer players, and you're like, well, how on earth, when it really counted, did you score that goal? There was almost no room. And they answer the question, well, I just kind of got inspired, and then I put my leg, and I just kicked it. Like, no, that's not an answer people are looking for. I'm looking for something like, well, what I did is I tipped my body to the left, which brought the goaltender to the side.
Mm.
I then flexed my oblique muscle, brought my right foot back, and kicked and balanced off my left with the ball of my foot. But what happened was I was looking here, but I kicked it there because I practiced it. That's the kind of answer that
Mm-hmm.
people want. So that's what you get with me. I'm sorry, I have to.
No, no,
It's how my brain works.
there's such a huge amount of like science behind your playing,
Yeah.
and it's it's
Sorry.
absolutely mesmerizing. I want to talk to you, if I may, about
Yeah.
as well, Mike, your drum kits, because in the past we've seen you play with four bass drums, we've seen you play with two, we've seen you play with one, we've seen these
Yeah.
big gigantic monsters, we've seen you play funk tracks with a much more scaled down kit.
Mhm.
What was the reason over the years that your kit got smaller? Was it that you just didn't need those additional toys, or was it that you wanted to see how you got on better with a smaller kit? What was the reason the kits over the years kind of shrunk?
Let's just say suggested that I reduce the drum kit. So it was suggested to me that I reduce the drum kit. Now, with Dream Theater recording, it was a small room. It's like you're cramming cramming everybody in there. Yeah, I get it. So that was sort of part of it. The other thing is that which I would not have done. I would not have done that on my own for a view from the top of the world. But but what's interesting about making suggestions to me when you work with me is it's like, okay, well, what's the deal? And it's like, well, there's not a lot of room. We're going to be in here for a while. And I'm like, well, big kid always fit in here. Like, I don't get it. But anyway, I, I went with it and enjoying it. Now, that's the difference. It's not
Mm.
like, well, why am I doing this? This is ridiculous. Like, no, 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 no. I have a sense of humor. Okay. So the other thing I have is that as a creative mind in shapes, I memorize, I do everything on these drums by geometry and shape. That's how I remember all those parts.
Mhm.
So I thought it would be funny that I set up a smaller kit thinking about, okay, well, I want the pitch range, so I'll just have the highest possible pitch drum, which is my mini snare cranked up. And when I, take the snare off, that's the highest
Hi,
tom.
Tom.
It's really high. Um, and then I'll have the 20-inch gong drum. So that's a pretty big spread, right? And I just calculated in inches. All right, well, if I divide that into 4 or 5 drums, which drums are those going to be? And so
Hmm.
that's what I did. But my sense of humor was like, okay, I'm going to play most of the parts on A View from the Top of the World as a lefty on the righty kit. So if anyone tries to learn those parts,
Okay.
you're not if you break them down and the drum fills start, most of them start with the left hand on the righty kit.
What, even the alien?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So and I did this stuff where I played beats by a lot of the beats are my left foot is playing hi-hat patterns
Mhm.
with my right hand. So it's a crisscross, and the other crisscross on my body has to play the rest. And I'm also playing things right side and left. And you can't when you listen to the album, there's music. It's simply music, and the drum
Yeah.
parts are just drum parts.
Mhm.
But if anyone sits down to try to play, like I haven't seen a lot of covers of people playing that stuff, and it's like I think that's funny, and it's like, oh, this guy that has this big drum set, he's on a tiny little kit. Great, I can learn this now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like, good. It's good. I love it. I love it. I absolutely, because if people don't talk to me about their experiences, which is what my community is all about, this new thing that I built I call it RK Lab, Rhythm Knowledge Lab. I am there. People are posting videos. I am responding immediately. I am writing people. I'm putting videos up. I'm absolutely in a relationship. Everybody that joins is with me, and I'm sitting
Mhm.
there guiding you through. So it's really, really fun. So when people are being um, forthright and comfortable with me, which they should be, and they're like, dude, I can't do this thing here. I'm like, yes, not okay, not yet, but you will be able to do it. Follow my lead. And I'm saying things like, well, in order for you to play that, you have to be able to lead with your left hand.
Mhm.
Sorry. So that's what it was. You asked me about the drum kit. Okay,
Mm.
so I built a drum kit. The monster was built. I could not play that. It was built as a tool.
Mm.
Please understand right now, if you wanted to develop your weak side better, the best thing for you to do is set up a small kit completely lefty, the opposite way. So,
Right.
because I had to go play gigs, one of them was with the band Extreme, so we're playing in front of a lot
Mm.
of people. I had to have a drum set to still play these gigs. You know what I mean? I couldn't just
Yes.
show up with a lefty kit. I did it. I
Mm.
100% did it, but before Extreme, I did a cover band thing purposefully with the three-piece lefty kit. And
Mm.
we played Tom Sawyer, but I have one roto tom, a
Mm.
floor tom, one set of 18-inch hi-hats. I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's
I'm
amazing.
telling you, when you have to do something, it changes you. So when I could sort of had to go to a small kit, which I could have like petitioned, like, I don't want to do that. No, no. I mean, it wasn't like I was an
Yeah.
axe was being given. I don't want to give that impression. It
No,
was
no,
just, it
no.
was suggested that
Okay.
I use a small kit, but it was like, I got a sense of humor. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to have some fun with this. And I want to try to do it. I want to try to make this fun. And I did. And I am so glad that I
Mm.
did that because with Monolith, unlike the big kit you see, I'm telling you right now, I could not play
Mm.
that stuff. It's a learning tool. With Monolith, my thought was, well, we'll probably have to do fly-in gigs.
Mm.
So I want to be. Here's my thinking. I want to be able to be flown uh, by checking an extra two cases other than a suitcase. And in those two suitcases is everything I need. So I'm going to play a 5-piece kit backline. That's what you get. That's what you get when you fly. So I'm like, okay, I got to take my Demon XR pedals. I take those. I need a gong drum and a mini snare because those are the extensions. But
Mhm.
what I wanted to do was carry the mini snare and carry a pad to just and a sound module. Just play the gong drum on a DAW's pad. And so I wanted to be able to travel with backline. That's the design of the Monolith kit. Um, what's interesting is that I have percussion on my Roland KT10 pedals. So I'm playing like wait till the new stuff comes out. Um, even the stuff that's out, it's not that easy to play that. But the new stuff, there's a few more conga drums and things, and
Mm.
so I have a slap conga with one foot and then a boof conga with the other. I have to switch my feet to play the kick drum lefty in order to be able to get that slap sound. It's it's awkward, and I'm doing this rhythm knowledge 4 coordination, limb pairing, hands versus feet, side versus side, diagonal versus diagonal on a dime, like a literal dime. Just switch.
That's honestly, man, it's incredible. And I've heard Monolith, absolutely amazing band, and congratulations with the birth of Monolith as well. I
Thanks.
can see you guys definitely going on an upward trajectory, and I can't wait to come and see you when you come over to the UK and do some shows. And what I was going to very quickly say regarding your comments surrounding A View from the Top of the World is, I just wanted to say congratulations on your Grammy because The Alien got you a Grammy. Amazing piece of work, and regardless of drum kit size, you managed to prove that you don't need these like so many drums in order to get there. And it's an amazing album, amazing piece of work, and I hope that you can still listen to those albums with so much joy today, because I think that kind of, if I may say so, without kind of talking about the elephant in the room, but that handover from you back to Mike was probably one of the classiest things I have ever seen in modern music, and it was dealt with such maturity and so much love and adoration for one another. So I think that was also absolutely amazing.
I'm glad you said that. Yes, I know it was a pretty simple uh, reaction by me. It's just the way I'm brought up and stuff like that. And also, the interesting thing is being able to step outside of yourself. And when I say that, you got to understand, when you study the brain, I know this is technical. Yes, of course it is. I'm technical, right? Um, the emotional area of the brain surrounds the reasoning area, which surrounds the moral area. So when you study brain, it's called the moral center, then your reasoning ability, and then your emotional. So when you're tied up with emotion, you can't be reasonable. Just look at the world. And if you don't have a good set of morals, you don't know how to reason. And so you just got if people manage to get you in that emotional area, and you haven't really looked into the act of reasoning, critical thinking, and you haven't looked into what's really right and wrong here, with a set of maybe philosophers behind you and belief systems and all of that stuff, right? If you haven't even done that, you haven't even asked the question, not who am I, but what am I, right? You're not going
Mhm.
to, I don't think you can wrap your head around this. So the other thing is that when I look at a perspective, like if I'm looking at, let's say, an old school heavy metal magazine or something,
Mhm.
with today you go online, I just don't buy into anybody in any band revealing things that are family. These things happen. it's closed doors thing. You don't reveal stuff about your coworkers or you this. I just don't. I just don't. I just can't wrap my head around that. So sorry, there's that aspect of it which really didn't apply to me. um, but it could have. It could have. I could have spoken about it. It was just like, okay, next. It's like, so now I have past bands. It's all the same. You could be talking to me about Extreme and it wouldn't be any different. You could be talking to me about spending some time in Annihilator. I emotionally feel the exact same way about all of them. It's like it's just it's kind of sort of a template for me. And I'm on text message threads with the people, and anybody can talk to me anytime they want. It's like stuff like that.
Amazing.
So it's all just whatever. Seriously, I
I feel,
know it might
I
whatever.
feel, I feel like I could just sit in a room and like listen to you talk. You seem, you, despite being I mean, I don't know what you've done with your Grammy, if it's on a shelf or if it's a doorstop, but I,
Where is it? Oh,
but what? Oh, and he's gone again. No,
can I tell you I'm going to tell you what I do with it. But go ahead. You finish first.
no, go
Go
on,
ahead.
tell me because your thing about a Grammy is gonna, it's gonna be more interesting.
What? But I'm interested in what you had to say. Go ahead. I talk too much.
No, you don't. You're right. I just wanted to say I feel like I could kind of sit in a room with you and just listen to you talk about life, about how our brain works, about drumming. You seem like such a lovely and down to earth guy, and I can't imagine there would be many people in your position that didn't, react, emotionally. And once again, you acted with such grace and such class. But also I don't want to just talk about that. I want to talk about the drums, and that's why
Yeah,
we're here.
yeah, it's
And
all good.
but tell me about your Grammy fact because I feel like a fact is going to come out and it's going to break the internet.
Okay. What does one do with a Grammy? What does one do with the Grammy? What do you do with it? Right. So I got the thing, and this means something to me because the song was birthed out of three drum grooves using 17. Okay, that's how it was birthed. They're not musically palatable things to the better part of the world because the brain has to work too hard. And this is just MIT stuff, all right? Don't blame the messenger here. But apparently, when people say they don't like complicated music or something, I don't like it. It doesn't groove. It's not this. It's not that, right? What they may not realize is the reality of that reaction is that they don't like the feeling that their brain can't process it. That's what the
Mm,
scientists say. You're not talking about me putting out, well, this is what this person thinks and feels, and that's wrong or that's right. That's not what you're getting from me. What you're getting is, hey, if you saw what I saw, you'd say what I'm saying. What have I
mm,
seen? Okay, the cognitive scientists are like, well, it's really this discomfort in there. People don't like that. It's because they can't process it. And I tried
mm,
to help, I put posts out like, listen, if you haven't done these things, you're not going to be able to even process what I'm playing here. The reaction is vitriol.
mm.
I'm mean. I am mean. I'm like. I'm. All of a sudden, I get insulted instead of an argument being presented. There's no argument because there is no argument. You can't argue that fact. There's science behind it. So all you can do is insult people. All you can do is insult and just disagree for some ethereal reason. So there was this heavy stuff. And the thing is that alien came out of this material, this sort of unpalatable stuff. And I went further. I went all house on it. I was like, I'm going to play like I'm 18. I said that in the room. In the group room, and then I went into the drum room. I'm just playing like I'm 18, man, and I just played all this disastrous stuff. And now there's a Grammy for it because it was from the heart. It was
That's
here.
in, that is so, and do you know what, Mike? Actually, to a lot of us, that story is
Yeah,
really inspirational because sometimes I
yeah.
think we get to a point with our playing where we kind of feel like maybe we need to be a bit more careful, but actually letting out your inner teenager or your inner young adult and just go for it on the kit. Hopefully that will win some of us a Grammy as well.
So wait,
While
wait,
I've
wait. Can I just tell you what I do with that?
oh yeah,
Because it
you
doesn't just
didn't
sit there.
even,
All right.
what do you do with it?
Okay. I it's my Stanley Cup. In ice hockey, you get the Stanley Cup. Okay, so here's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing with my face, no drum thing, no career thing exists in my home where anybody can see anything. You come into my house, you are looking at, because I've turned over all things in the house to my other half. I'm not in charge of that. I'm in charge of the garage, okay? And I'm in charge of the storage areas where my drums are, where my drums, all that stuff. That's what I'm in charge of. You don't see anything, okay? You don't like walk in and see a. I put a picture of me. I just can't do that anyway. My friends would come in and just whack me in the face if they came in and I had a picture of me in my house. Like what? Or some award or whatever. You're not seeing that, right? It's just how my house is. So the one time that the discussion was, well, I think that Grammy should maybe go on the mantle, and my reaction was, nope. I got an old Demon Drive pedal, a single pedal case. Okay, I took the Grammy in the foam, fit it perfectly in the drum case, and a bottle of tequila. I
Nice.
travel, I travel with the Grammy and a bass drum pedal case and a bottle of tequila, and I go to parties. And anyone and everyone that wants to do a little sip of something, just a little sip out of the Grammy, I pour it in, and then they do a shot. I just took it like 2 weeks ago. I went to a golf outing with some high school buddies, and they're like, "You got to take the Grammy." So I took the Grammy, good old Waltham, Mass, good old Waltham, Mass, right? And we had like three classes in terms of years playing together, not a tournament, but just playing golf and hanging out after for like 27 hours, and like that's what I do. So that's what I do with it. It is my Stanley Cup. Yes, I am warned. What if it falls in dents? My answer is so. So what? I'm having
Well,
fun with it.
Mike, congratulations on your career. Not that
Thanks.
you need me, a chubby British drum enthusiast, to tell you that, but congratulations with all your success.
Thanks.
Also, massive once again, congratulations with the birth of Monolith. When that band came out, I think everybody's Instagram absolutely kind of exploded in their hands. Your tracks that you're releasing with the band are phenomenal. I hope that a time comes where you can do a bit more traveling with the band. My last question before I let you go is, what, Mike, would your advice be to an aspiring drummer of any age, of any ability, that would love to climb the ladder to success in the way that you have with not only Monolith, but obviously all of your other projects as well?
Well, two things. Get a pencil and paper, and I'll say exactly what I gave as advice as an advisor when I was at Berkeley College for 10 years. And the other thing is join my lab for coffee money. Are you kidding me? I got all my courses in there, and I'm inside of it. Like, so I'm kind of like, I'm in there going, hello, get in there. Honestly, just do that. But the advice is get a pencil and paper and write down three things. Draw a picture, draw a little stick figure of yourself, draw an environment you aspire to get in. Many people want to be a studio musician. Many people want to be in a band and play live. But you got to realize that you as a musician also exist in a practice room. Where else do you exist? You exist in these places: studio, live, practice room. Pretty much, main things. Um, well, what connects you to them?
Mm.
What connects you? What puts you from here to there? People. People do that. So you have to figure out, okay, who is in each of these environments? Well, who do they know? Where do I go to make connections? How online, let's say, do I make a connection? Because you can post all you want. Someone
Mm.
like I must have six figures worth of messages in those social media things. I didn't even know how it worked. My Facebook doesn't even get messages. The Instagram is like there's 8 zillion. I can't. I don't look at that. And I have people that help me. And I do go in once in a while. Someone goes in or whatever, and then I I'll check it here and there, but it's just too much in there, right? So you're not reaching anybody that way. Um, the other thing is that you write down not only, all right, who exists in these environments? What are they and how do they work? What do you
Mm,
mean? Well, what's a recording studio? Well, you have to record. What does that mean to record? Well, you have to play in time and strike really well
mm,
because, and it doesn't mean a click. And I mean, yeah, you got to play with a click, but you have to play maybe in time to the guitar player that's
mm,
playing acoustic and is going in and out of time, so or
mm,
just flowing. You have to be able to connect to someone's external time some way. You have to be able to strike well. But what about you? So you're drawing yourself, you're drawing where you want to go, and you write down in the middle, well, what's connecting me? But you got to make a list. Well, what is in the studio? What is in live? What does it mean to play live? How does it work? And then you look at yourself and go, what am I? How
mm,
how do I work? And
mhm,
that's how I developed myself because I looked at myself. I was like, well, what am I missing? What don't I
mhm,
do well?
mhm.
What do I do well? And you write those things down. You write down what you don't do, and then you make a choice. Because I can write down plenty of things I don't do and come to the conclusion that I don't really feel like spending my time with that.
Mm.
Okay, I just don't want to do certain things and I would like to do other things. And you develop who you are and you try to connect.
Love that.
So you got to have a piece of paper and a pencil. You got to make a picture and you have to make lists because if you think you can do that in your mind, forget about it. If you think you know everything about these things, forget about it. You go research. Write it down.
Amazing. Mike Mangini, thank you so much for coming on Drummers Review. It was an absolute pleasure to hang out with you. I'll wait for my invite to your house so we can drink tequila together at some point in the future. And I wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you. Thanks for the great interview, great questions, and cheery smile and great attitude. I love it.
Oh, stop it, you. Come on, stop it. Thank you.